What has this got to do with us here in Florida? Everything. This funky colored purple line is Florida's gross state product year-over-year percent change, and I'm comparing this to U.S. GDP changes, which is in blue, in the southeast region, which is in yellow. And you can see if you start on the left-hand side of this chart, we're used to growing faster than the country as a whole. We're used to growing faster than this region. But something awful happened beginning here in 2007. We started running below that yellow line and the blue line, and we still are today. This is annual data, so 2010 is the latest data that we have. Which is why Florida is so shell-shocked. You're not used to being the poor cousin. In fact, you're still lagging behind most of the rest of the country in terms of feeling the recovery that has already occurred. And we'll be taking a look at some of that data. But if the economy itself is going to be growing in 2012, then you're going to see more opportunities in this area in 2012. But you need to be careful about 2014. Another way I like to show how a state moves with the overall economy is through their unemployment rates. Unemployment in Florida is depicted by the yellow bar, U.S. is the blue bar, and you can see there's a positive correlation between these trend lines. What's unusual is that in 2010, your unemployment rate shot above the national average. That hadn't happened before. You're always the favored child. Unemployment is going to remain very problematic in Florida and in this country for at least the next 5 years. Which means state and municipal, not to mention federal budgets, are going to be constrained by needing to supply this safety net of social services. Don't look for any quick fixes there because there aren't any. This is not likely to come down significantly in the near term. Understanding that Florida has its challenges, we still like Florida long term. At ITR, we rank all 50 states based on opportunities. An opportunity index. It's contrived by 22 different variables, so these are just subheadings that hide other variables. And where you excel the best is workforce quality. And where you're very good is entrepreneurial environment and business costs. Where you're about below average, actually, is local market conditions, and that's the real per capita income for the area, along with business diversity in Florida, and real estate stability, because you have none. But overall, when people ask us at ITR, where should we be looking for the future, for some growth? We tell folks to go to Florida. We tell them to compete with you. Simply. And sometimes when we really want to confuse people, we put both rate of change and the data on the same chart. On the lower portion of this chart, you see Gainesville construction industry employment. Why did I bring along that particular chart? Because it's readily available and it gives me an idea of the economic health of an area. It's a little bit of a lagging economic indicator, but I can still tell an awful lot about it. This yellow line is a 3-month moving average, 12-month moving average, and they're both still generally heading down. This is more a seasonal rise than anything in that yellow line. That's scaled on the right. The rates of change is scaled on the left underneath ROC, and they vacillate around that zero line. And when you see minus 3.8 and minus 6.7, you know we're running below year-ago levels. When the rate of change is going up, that's this inflection point here. We're slowing in our rate of descent. We're still looking for the bottom, however. This is housing and non-residential construction workers. Most states in the union are closer to the bottom than you folks are here in Gainesville. In fact, the state of Florida is closer to the bottom than we are here in Gainesville. And I don't know why that is, because I don't know Gainesville well enough. But I know that you are definitely lagging behind the state and lagging behind the country in terms of seeing this pain come to an end.